Recently, I made a bit of a mistake. You see, I wanted to create an outfit for a pole dancing performance, but I wanted to make it myself. This is partly because I wanted sequins on my outfit, which can be quite pricey. When I was making this costume, I made significant errors during the design process, which ended up costing me more time and effort. By analysing my own project, as well as the group projects I participated in this semester, I hope to highlight mistakes that can come with a bad design process and what a good design process can look like. My first mistake was not fully reading the brief. Going into this project, I had a vague idea of what I wanted, a pink sequin set that was much cheaper than a purchased one. However, since I didn't give other factors much consideration, it ended up costing me more down the line. For example, I bought a cheap white swimsuit to act as the base for my set. However, I didn't consider that the bottoms on the swimsuit cut too low for my personal preference. I fixed this by buying a cover-up wrap skirt to wear over my bottoms. I could have saved a lot more money if I'd looked at multiple swimsuit bottoms to find a fit that suited my performance better. If I was starting from scratch on this project, I would probably write a clear brief for my design, as well as doing a quick stakeholder analysis, as well as a decision matrix. This would be a great way to make sure I've considered each one of my factors before major components are purchased. I also didn't consider that sometimes the most obvious solution is not always the ones you should go with. For example, during the second master planning project, the obvious solution was to just build houses for the informal settlement. However, this didn't consider why this wouldn't be possible in this case. The settlement during construction would be houseless and then would likely expand their territory. During the design process, I decided that the method of construction would be hot gluing the sequins on individually, as hot glue was a resource I had access for free, and it seemed less technically demanding than a process like sewing. However, I realised that when covered in hot glue and sequins, the elasticity in the fabric went away, which added a stiffness to the clothing. I had to buy fashion tape to keep the costume in place during the performance because of this. These two previous mistakes could have been covered if I had made multiple versions of a design outline before deciding which one best suited my needs. I did not do this as I had a clear idea of what I wanted the costume to physically look like. A similar problem happened during the third upgrading group project. Because the land we had to work with was small and the brief was specific, it was hard not to create identical solutions. This was when I learned that design solutions can be made different through details like materials, construction process, cost, and construction time. So I could have made multiple design solutions of the same aesthetic design, considering a different factor each time. I would have then pick the solution that best works with my decision matrix. Ultimately, while I can admit my costume could have been done more efficiently, I'm hesitant to call it a failure. Even if we consider additional purchases, it also admittedly cost me a lot less to make than to buy. I also got a costume that matched what I wanted it to look like. I think my time management was good as I got my costume finished by the showcase, and I also managed to think on my feet and I made solutions to problems when they came up. I think if I had to summarise each kind of design process, I would do so as follows. A bad design process is done without sufficient planning. It is poorly organised and timed, and ultimately either doesn't give the desired product, or if it does so with a significant loss in cost or time. A good design process is planned out and considered from multiple angles. Different designs of the final product are made before finally a decision is made on the best possible solution. This solution is then constructed with minimal error and gives the best possible result.